Heyo, what is up? I am White Dude Down, aka Whitey, aka SBF 50, your Paleman, DJ Paleman, on behalf of the Friendslist Podcast and the Friendslist Network with an Overwatch gameplay video. So this game's a big deal. A ton of people are playing it. It took me forever to actually find a copy in stores. And I've been playing it with, by myself, with some cool people that I met online, and with my friends from home and the dudes from the podcast. And this is a good game. This is awesome. And, there's all these different characters in it with all different abilities and combining them and counters, and everybody's trying to figure all this stuff out. And I want to focus on a different aspect of the game, which is just building a good attack and defense, and ways that you can work on that regardless of what characters you have. I mean, obviously you want to play to their strengths and weaknesses, but right here I'm playing with these guys and you can kind of hear them responding to me. I don't know why their voices are on the track and not mine, but that Torbjorn was really cool. He was willing to help out, and there's another guy that I think is playing as Symmetra right now. So basically I've been thinking about this a lot because I play as Bastion, and when you're playing as him, what you want is a nice, good, clear, long line of sight where you can just spray at people. He does probably the highest damage in the game by a pretty decent margin. But his problem is exactly what you just saw right there. You want them to only be able to come at you from one way. Okay? And on these attack and defend maps with payloads like this, almost all of the maps have a very similar layout. They won't be identical, the buildings and stuff will be moved, but basically there's a wide open street for the payload to move, and then there's different buildings and corridors and avenues that they can move through on the right and left flanks. Okay? So as Bastion, you're best suited to covering that big main road, where you can just dish out damage if they're doing the Reinhardt thing, where he's walking at you with his shield up, which is coming up in this video when I talk about attack. But Bastion's really good at cracking that shield if you're able to just sit there and pummel on him. So what we did here was I was talking to these guys about helping me out and asking if they wouldn't mind running a plan. So basically at the start, what we had was Torbjorn set up his turret to cover that right hand side where the little steps are or whatever, and then the Symmetra put as many of her little turrets as she could inside of that building, so that if they got inside of there they would be trapped with those, and that would be able to protect me, people coming up and getting in my face, and I could just focus on that main road. Obviously you saw the left hand side at the beginning there was pretty open, and it didn't exactly go according to plan, but we do a really good job of defending the actual node itself using a similar technique. So basically, if you're talking about the defenders in this game, like I said, the Bastion and the snipers, you want a nice big clear line of sight. Torbjorn, the placement of his turret is kind of different from everything else, because if they run up from behind it, that doesn't really do them much good unless they can destroy it really quick, because the turret will just turn around and kill you. So he's actually pretty good sometimes at covering the little rooms and ways that they can escape to try and get around behind you. So this Tracer is pretty much doing exactly what she should be doing, which is popping in and out on the sides and trying to get us to turn around to open up the main road for her teammates. And she kind of gets in my head pretty bad here. I got the headphones on and I can hear when she's moving around and stuff. And you'll see a couple times, like right there, she was right where I thought she was. But in this video, you'll see me drop out of turret mode and go looking for her, because I think that she's around me, because I'm freaking out. But this is what you want to be doing. You just set up here, cover the middle of the road. They're actually doing a really good job of holding this pretty much on their own, down around that corner. I can't even see what's going on because they're fighting around that dead end. But basically, you hear I don't know if you heard that or not, but I think that Tracer's like whipping around somewhere. I pop out to go look for her. She ends up getting a good kill, a good triple kill on them. So now it's on me to hold this for as long as I can to get our respawns back. And yeah, right there. Anytime that I hear her, I'm immediately like, okay, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. And I think at this point in the game, I'm not sure if it's yet, but there might be 2 of them in the game. You can see here, trying to crack his shield, which I succeed at. Bastion is probably the best in the game at that, alongside Junkrat. Ult go in on them, and I think my teammates that had died before are just starting to catch up now. So that goes pretty well.
Oh, I have a cold.
That little kid. So yeah, they're doing a pretty good job. I came up big right there, I think, with defending that pretty much solo for a little while for the respawns to come up, and now they're over here. But yeah, so if you're talking about the different characters that are listed as defenders, you want to stick to their strengths. So Junkrat's really good at clogging up like a choke point, a really small one. If you can just fling grenades in there, and then as long as you're not reloading, they can't exactly move through that doorway. Here, this is pretty cool. Here, what's coming up. Reload in his face, it gunned him down. I was really happy that I didn't die there. So he's really good at clogging up a corridor. The snipers are pretty much self-explanatory. Although they can also play on attack. But if you ask my opinion, if you're going to play on a map like this with a character, if you're going to have Bastion on there, you kind of want to build out the defense around him and have people that can hold those smaller, tighter areas. I know Roadhog is really good at that if they're going to come to him. Symmetra's good at setting up her little turrets inside of buildings and stuff. Not, you know, she's almost exactly the opposite of Bastion. She can't hold an open area like that. So that's cool. So coming up, let me do the Reinhardt part and talk about attack.
I was gonna vote for Bastion. You actually doing a lot better.
Okay, so in this match, this is the exact same map, Dorado. We're now on the attacking side, and I tell these guys that I would like to go Reinhardt. And I'm talking right now about building an attack around Reinhardt, which sounds kind of... I get that from the way that I've been talking about these last 2 things, it seems kind of selfish that I'm like, oh, they should be building this around me. But the reason why I like these characters is because I feel like they excel at kind of forcing a game plan their way. So one of the things that'll happen a lot of times, everybody's seen the Reinhardt walking up the middle with the payload with his shield up, with maybe somebody healing behind him. But what'll happen in a lot of games that I've been playing recently is that we'll have 3 or more characters like Junkrat on attack, or the ones that I see more often than not is Tracer and Reaper. And I'll be in games where we'll have like 2 Tracers and a Reaper on attack. And those are offensive-based heroes, but those are the ones that they're good, just like how I was talking about in the defensive side of things, of wanting to clog up those side passageways. Those characters excel at going through those side passageways. They're really close range based, and they do a lot of damage, and they're really annoying to people. And they also have, especially with their ults, they can make plays. So they're definitely some of the most fun characters to play as, but you don't want to run into situations where you have too many of them. So what I had asked these guys is if I could have a healer stick with me, and then also you really want, if you're going to run the strategy of just Reinhardt up the gut, you really want like a Soldier 76, a McCree, or like a Farah to come with you. Someone that can take and hold ground and is good at shooting people, like they're good whether they're up close or far away. And then, you know, they can shoot through your shield, because there's nothing more frustrating than having like this thing up the entire time and nobody like taking advantage of the cover other than to just not take hits, you know? So right here, I end up doing that to this guy like 12 times in this game. The enemy Reinhardt will get right up in my face, and he'll do his rush move and pin me to the wall, and then I'll just do it right back to him and get the kill. That guy doesn't learn very quick in this one. So these guys are cool enough to stick with me. I got the healer. I know if it were up to me, I would take either a Mercy or a Lucio, because Mercy's like the best healer, and also just having a res. And if you're running this strategy, you're going to be standing right on top of the payload, so being able to keep the thing moving almost the entire time, not having to wait to get back, because if you go down, you basically got to rebuild everything from the back, running a strategy like this. And then also Lucio's really good, because if you're sitting at full health, which you will be a lot, because you know you're keeping the barrier up for your teammates the entire time. If you're at full health the entire time, then Lucio can do something else for you, which is speed you up. So he's not just like pumping heals into you, or if you're talking about a character like Mercy, who can boost damage, she's not doing anything for the Reinhardt, because I'm just holding my shield up. I'm not really attacking at all almost the entire time. So she's good because, like I said, if you're running with like a Soldier 76 with you, then she can just boost his damage while everybody's sitting at full health, and then go into damage control. You know, this is like the third time. Oh no, never mind. This is when he blocks my ult. Yeah, I learned that this game, that the Reinhardt shield blocks the Reinhardt ult, which is kind of crazy. So we're doing really good here so far. That first node was pretty clean. We're able to adjust to anything that these guys are trying to do to stop us, like a random Bastion in a hole to our left. I think they have 2 up right now. And one of the things that you want to do when you're playing as Reinhardt like this is, when your shield is getting pretty low, if there's any kind of cover that you can duck into, just do that and let your shield recharge, rather than having it break when like the Bastion's shooting at you. You know, just let it keep getting low and walking around when the sides and the edges start getting cracked. And then just have it go down while you're out in the middle of cover. Just especially because I'm communicating with these guys. I'll tell them like, hey, I'm going to duck over here for a little bit. I think I do it like right now. I'm like, hey, I'm going to come over here and let my shields recharge. So this way it's not like they're just standing behind it and all of a sudden their cover's gone and they have to duck away really fast. I forget what May was doing. We're just having a really easy time with this. But like I said, if you try to run this strategy and you don't have anybody that can sit in the middle and deal damage from a distance, and you know, I think the Soldier 76 is a perfect example, because he can heal too. That's just such a versatile character. I don't think it's like Oscar Mike in Battleborn, where I would go so far as to say something like, oh, you need to have one on every team. But I've never thought like, oh no, we have too many Soldier 76s on our team. He's just very good overall. If he goes down, he can come up really quick, get back to where he needs to be. He can heal, so he's good at holding ground. That's like the longest pin I've ever seen. And here, you just do it right back to him if he does it first. And he pushes himself all the way onto my side. And my teammates help me out, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, you got that. I don't think we have a 76 right now. I think we have a McCree. I'm actually really, really bad in this game at shooting people from afar with his handgun. I know that he seems like he's meant to be played 2 ways, which is that his pistol is pretty good range, and then also if they get right up in your face, he's great at just flashbanging and insta-bursting somebody down with the fan the hammer move. So I don't know if anybody has had a better time at hitting people from afar with McCree, or if maybe that's just actually not how he's supposed to be played. I have a feeling like on PC he's significantly better, because it's easier to just get those quick medium to long range single shots. Yeah, I don't know what I thought I was doing there. I was like, I'll save you, but that slam ended up being a waste of time. Here I have my ult, and normally I'd be looking to quake the ground right there, except that this guy just taught me that that probably won't work, and this is actually kind of sick. I'll just hold him right back and slam him into the wall. I knew that we were going to win at this point. We were doing so well, so I didn't feel like using it on the grouped up team. Just help that guy out because he was doing so. He was helping me out a lot this entire time. I think that was the Lucio. So that's it. Just playing football, going up the gut, just running hard. That's the Reinhardt stuff. That's pretty cool. And then I would never just tell somebody that I think that Soldier 76 is like the best ever, and you know you need him, and you got to do this, this, and this with it, unless I actually thought that it was a good idea to play as him. So the next clip is another game. I'll be playing the 76, which is kind of like exactly the same. I think we run a similar strategy. I'm not sure if we have a Reinhardt, but it is attacking with a payload, and you know, it's really good to have that all-around source of damage on your team. So coming up is another gameplay. I'm not sure whether or not I was with the same people on this one, but it is going to be on Gibraltar, coming up in a second. And as I've said before, Soldier 76 is the most well-rounded character in the game, in my opinion. Between his ability to lay down healing fields, which makes him good on both attack and defense, and they're not just for himself, like a character like Roadhog. He can help out your team. You can kind of... Sometimes you get into certain situations where you're wondering, like, do we want to go like 2 supports, see if that's viable? And I know on a game like Battleborn, that was actually like the way to go for us for a while. And I don't know if you can get away with that with like a Lucio and a Mercy in this game, or maybe on defense. I don't know if you would ever want to do like a Symmetra with somebody else. So he can kind of fill in the cracks as far as healing. And then the number one thing is that his just his gun, just his kit, and his ability to deal damage is good at all ranges. Definitely best at medium to medium far. But you know, he's not somebody like a... What's a good example of somebody that you don't want him to get up close, like a Bastion, where you really don't want them to get up close on you. So here's another situation. You know, I got multiple guys coming at me. I can lay down, I can put down some heals where he would probably have killed me if I didn't do that. Take him out. So Soldier 76, I could see him. I could easily say that I wish that this guy was on every single team in the game, whether or not you're attacking and defending. Kind of like what I thought about Oscar Mike. But I wouldn't go that far in a game like this. Just because, you know, Oscar Mike had a similar problem that this character did, where you're playing in these character or hero shooters, I should say, and you've got people like Reinhardt, which is this awesome like giant knight guy with like a sledgehammer with a jet engine on the back of it, and he can do all these really cool things. He can fly across the map and insta-kill people. Or you got characters like Reaper that looks like death, and he's got 2 shotguns, and everybody's seen him do die, die, die in the middle of a group of people, and he gets like 6 kills all at once, and it looks really flashy and awesome. And then you've got a character like Soldier 76 that has an assault rifle with a grenade launcher on it, and a sprint as one of his abilities, and his flaw is that he appears boring compared to the rest of the cast. And I'm pretty good when a game like this comes out, where I can look at the cast of characters and I could tell you who everybody's going to want to play. And I could tell you right away that everybody's going to try and play as Reaper because his character art looks really cool. And, you know, he's like this sick damage dealer, up close guy with like a teleport and all these cool moves. So that's the problem that characters like this have, is that they're not as interesting to play if you're talking about things like aesthetics and flashiness. But he's as a character, he's just so good. It's the exact same thing that happened with Oscar Mike, except for different reasons. And if you're playing on console, one of the biggest OP things right now that I hear people complaining about nonstop is Torbjorn and his turrets. And if you've been paying attention to this video thus far, you can see that I've killed at this point probably 3 Torbjorn turrets, and I end up getting a couple more, I think. And Soldier 76 is perfect for that. Okay, if you're at like medium range to the turret and you can get behind cover, put your healing sphere down, and then pop out, shoot the turret a little bit, maybe not outright kill it on your first try, but then pop back into cover and heal for a little bit, and then pop back out and finish it off. He's excellent at that. He's really good, and you're about to see his ult being used effectively to counter a defensive line by their team trying to stop us. And on console, I know coming up on the Friendslist Podcast, I definitely want to talk with my buddy Joe, because he's playing Overwatch on PC and the rest of us have it on PlayStation 4, and I want to talk to him about it. Like, it really feels like this game was made to be played with a mouse and keyboard, and that like needing to be able to aim and stuff is like deeply embedded in the systems of this game. So something like Soldier 76's ult, where you just get aimbot for a little while, is just so valuable, and it might feel cheap at times or unsatisfying or unflashy to just hold down the trigger and get a bunch of kills. But right here, over the course of this game, if you've been paying attention, you can see how good 76 is with that exact same strategy that I just explained before. And I even get play of the game with his ult. But just basically following the Reinhardt and supporting him up the middle, not sticking to the sides and abandoning the payload. You still want to be there, because the more people that you have moving the payload, the faster that it goes, the more likely you are to win the game. So there's that. Please check out the Friendslist Podcast, available for free on iTunes, SoundCloud, and GooglePlay. And check back in for more videos. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.